Dr. Mrs. Manju Sahai, a contractual faculty in Department of Botany, Mahila College, Chaiwasa. Today I am delivering my lecture on the topic transpiration, mainly opening and closing mechanism of stomata for semester 3, BSc UG semester 3. Now come to transpiration. What do you mean by this? Loss of water in the form of water vapor from aerial parts of the plant body to the atmosphere is known as transpiration. Roots, the underground parts are not involved in this. In aerial parts, maximum is leaf is the main site of transpiration as it contains stomata and cuticle, and the woody plants in forest it contains latent cell. So there are three types of transpiration. One is stomatal, another is lenticular, yet another is cuticular. These two are very least, but the main transpiration is carried out by stomatal mechanism. Now come to point, the stomata is a structure of stomata. It is made up of two guard cells having their walls, the outer and inner walls are different. Inner wall is thick and outer wall is thin. When it becomes turgid, the outer wall bulges out and the inner wall not so much bulges, so it leaves an aperture. That aperture is known as stoma, that is meant for gaseous exchange. So water is lost in the form of water vapor from this aperture. Not only water vapor, CO2 also enters through this stoma, oxygen also enters during respiration, enters through this, and CO2 is exhaled out. So stomata is very important. Now the transpiration always occurs in day, not in night. Means light has certain activities play an important role for opening and closing mechanism. In dark it is closed, in night, in daytime it is opened. It is due to the structure of guard cells bears chloroplast. Chloroplast of guard cells makes it to function photosynthesis. Photosynthesis carried down in guard cells, and the product of photosynthesis is carbohydrates, and carbohydrates, the consumption of CO2 is fixed, and CO2 concentration becomes low in guard cells in daytime, and the conversion of sugar is again CO2 lowers the hydrogen ion concentration of the cell sap of guard cells. If the hydrogen ion concentration of cell sap of guard cell decreased, the pH automatically increased. At increased pH, there is interconversion of starch into sugar, and we know that starch is insoluble in water and sugar is soluble in water. In starch, sugar when forms, the solute concentration is high, so the osmotic concentration of osmotic potential is very high. It absorbs water from neighboring subsidiary cells and becomes turgid. That means turgidity is high, and when turgidity is high, the guard cells becomes swollen, upper wall becomes so bulges out, and the thick wall neither is somewhat less, leaving an aperture. The stomata is open. But in dark, just reverse. There is no photosynthesis. There is no photosynthesis, so CO2 is very huge amount. Respiration से भी CO2 आएगा और CO2 का कंजम्पशन भी फोटोसिंथेसिस नहीं हो रहा है तो CO2 भी बहुत ज़्यादा. At this condition, the hydrogen ion concentration becomes very high. There is low pH. In this condition, sugar is converted into starch which is insoluble in water, the solute concentration of which becomes low, and the water leaves from guard cells to other cells by the process exosmosis, endosmosis in case of light, exosmosis in case of guard cells. When water leaves from guard cell to other outside. This is known as exosmosis. When water enters in guard cells, it becomes high turgidity, means endosmosis. Now, when water is lost, the stomata becomes flaccid. There is no transpiration in night. Now, there are certain theories regarding opening and closing mechanism of stomata. The first theory is photosynthesis. There is the production of, if the guard cell contains chloroplast, it means it photosynthesizes, forming organic solutes, becoming the concentration of the solute becomes very high, then it absorbs the water, endosmosis phenomena occurs, and which accelerates the turgidity of guard cells to become open. Now, then again at high pH, the concentration of sugar, starch to sugar comes. So sugar also enhances the production, solute concentration, and it leads to the absorption of water, that is endosmosis from the outside environment, and becomes turgid. The second hypothesis is starch sugar conversion hypothesis. In this case, when pH is high, CO2 concentration के low करने के कारण pH ज़्यादा हो जाता है in day times, the conversion of starch into sugar, that is enhances the cell sap concentration, makes it available for the entry of water in it, and the phenomena endosmosis is increased, and the turgidity is maintained by the guard cells, and the stoma is open and the daytime. Other is CO2 concentration. CO2 concentration. In daytime, CO2 concentration becomes very low due to photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, CO2 is used up to form carbohydrates. So there is low CO2 concentration in the cell sap of guard cell. So the hydrogen ion concentration becomes very low, and the potential hydrogen ion is very high, which prefers conversion of starch into sugar. Now, another thing, another theory, that is glycolate pathway. Glycolate is a 2-carbon compound, acidic form, that is formed when photosynthesis occur in light. The RUDP combines with CO2 to form C3 compound, that is phosphoglyceric acid. But when CO2 is limited, the oxygen preferred to link with ribulose 1,5-diphosphate, it forms glycolate. Via glycogylate is formed, and by this reversal of glycolysis forms the energy, and that very energy used for pumping of water inside the guard cells to become open. Another theory given by, that is proton transport theory. Proton means H. When anything dissolved in water, suppose carbonic acid, CO2 plus water enters through stoma, becomes H2CO3, when dissociates H plus plus HCO3 minus. This H is actually, H plus is ejected from the guard cells, and by the process of adsorption, K plus ion enters. Means it is equal, means proton का आदान प्रदान होता है, मतलब कि H plus बाहर जाएगा उतना ही K plus आएगा, and that K plus enhances the rate of endosmosis in daytime in guard cells, and or in dark जो है, that is, or certain theories that are in PDF, and for that, if any doubt, please contact at my WhatsApp number. I am always there.